Good morning, everyone. So last night I had a practice and I had two people, which was great, but I decided not to send that out to everybody because I don't know, I think that classes that are live are better live unless I'm just teaching without anybody else to send out to people. Perhaps it's part of my perfectionism. So this morning is my Wednesday is my practice day, and so I thought I would share my practice with you and see what you think. And you can do any or all of it. I've already meditated this morning, so I'm not going to really spend much time doing that. And so we're going to begin by just sitting up nice and tall. I do have music playing in the background because I like music. And just sit up tall and cross your legs. You could also sit on a chair and place your hands on your thighs and let your sit bones settle. Just let your, I've noticed actually that I do this a lot. So now I have to learn. It might be part of what I'm doing in terms of teaching, but I've been working on letting my chin drop just a bit and then maybe taking my hands, right, to slide up the back of my head to get this length going in the back of my neck, which actually opens my chest, right? It's kind of nice. And you can do the same. So we're just sort of tractioning the head up, opening the elbows, and changing the cross of the elbows, the hands. And then keeping all that, letting the hands drop down to the knees. And just for a few moments, closing the eyes, settling in, taking a nice deep breaths in and out. As you breathe in and out, allow the breath to sort of nudge the body to soften and relax. So with each breath, maybe the shoulders relax, face, chin, neck. I have a lot of tension in my upper shoulders right now. So it just feels good to breathe in and out and to let go of that tension. Bringing the palms together in front of your heart and setting an intention for your practice. It's always nice to do that. Maybe it's setting an intention for your day, your week. Talked this morning about the idea of setting goals. Just repeat it to yourself, your intention. Letting the hands drop down to the knees. And for a change, let's let the palms face up. I have a tendency to always ground down, but today I'm going to let the palms face up and breathe in and allow the bigger universe to allow all this goodness to happen within me. And gently open the eyes and just change the cross of your legs if you're sitting on the ground. Otherwise, just stay where you are. And then just let's just do a couple of hand circles, right? I've been doing these a lot, or at least every day, right? With all this extra computer work, I think it's very important to mobilize, making circles with the wrists, and then changing the direction. Right. And if you like this, you can do this a few times a day, right? There's no limit. Stretching out the right arm and then just pressing the palms, pressing down, finding a stretch, right, of the top of the arm here, and then switch it. And I do feel a nice little stretch here. Good. And then letting the palm face up, stretching the palm down. I don't have a super lot of flexibility, never did. No matter how much yoga I do, it's always the same. I do feel a lot of stretch though. You want to feel a moderate amount of stretch, not too much, right? Shake the hands out, take the hands to the shoulders, and let's make some nice circles. And then reverse those circles. And this just feels so nice. I feel like I'm getting some goosebumps. And then once again, taking the hands behind the head and really just, again, tractioning the head up, gazing straight ahead, find a point. Lifting the back of the head, opening the elbows wide. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. The more we can take good breathing and deep breaths during the practice, the better off we are. Good. And then from here, I'm sitting up on a bolster. I have a lot of props, so I'm lucky. I also have my door open to allow my dog to come in and out because he's as happy as he is that Steve and I are home all day long with him. We also have a lot of work to do, so we've had to shut him out. So I want him to feel that he can come in. But if he gets to be a burden, I'll move him. You'll see in a minute. Once I start really moving, he has a tendency to get crazy. So just have your feet, let's have the feet almost a little bit wider than hip distance and just let the knees roll from side to side, right? Good. And then let the knees roll to the right, to the left, and just sort of finding this figure four. This, I don't even know what the pose is called. And just let the right hip drop down. And then maybe taking your hand to this hip crease and breathing. Good. And then from here, just finding a nice lateral stretch over the left leg. My hip really wants to come up. And then from here, opposite, which is a really tough stretch in my. But tough means I need it and I'm doing it. Good. And then again, feet on the ground, let the knees roll right and left. Oops, sorry about that. Sorry. The modern wonders of really figuring out how to do this well, right? In the bedroom. So again, then just letting the knees roll come to the right, sitting up nice and tall, trying to get both hips down, right? The challenge. And then again, finding that stretch laterally. And then finding, the uprightness. This side is really a challenge because I have a right hip issue. Ooh. And if you like that, you can hold it longer, but I don't like it. Good. And then just stretching the legs out in front, sitting up as tall as you can, trying to get the shoulders together, pointing and flexing the feet. I have a strap, I have lots of straps. One of the nice things to do at any time of the day is you can take your strap, create a loop, place it over your shoulders, and then kind of keeps the shoulders out of the equation so you don't have to work. Making pointing and flexing. I'm making some circles with the feet, switching the crosses of the feet, the ankles, yeah. And then just letting the right foot come over the left knee, sitting up tall. And just gently, again, you can do this sitting up right? Or you can begin to lean back, you can bend your knee, and it looks like this. Wow, I feel that. Good. Second side. Again, you can just be here, or you can begin to bend the right knee, and then again, just move a little bit right and left. And one side, you're going to feel one hip more than the other. Right, I felt a lot more action on the right side than I do on the left, and my right hip tends to be a little bit more in need of things. Right, it gets tighter, sore. And then just for a moment, if you can, again, if you're sitting on a chair, you could sit on a chair, and but for now I'm here. I might do a chair practice too. Sorry, I'll move back a little so you can see me. I'm just sitting up nice and tall. It's no biggie, right? I mean, or it might be a biggie. I don't know. Um, you don't have to worry about how much you pull your legs in. That's not really important. The purpose of the poses and the purpose of yoga is to find ease, right? Especially now in challenging times. I mean, it is nice to push ourselves. We want to push ourselves in a healthy way. So for me, I like keeping my spine extended, and then I move forward, keeping my spine very tall, gazing forward, and I feel a nice little stretch in the groin. And then, if you want to go further, you can take blocks, right? If you have blocks or top of a chair, and you can just keep on moving forward. You could also do it up against a wall, which I love doing, right? And then once again, just stretching the legs out. This is where my dog is going to probably come. He has this idea that when I come and lie down on the ground, that it's an invitation for him to come lie on the ground. So we're going to do a couple of things on the ground. Perhaps I just have just a couple of essential oils that I used this morning: thieves, joy, clarity, eucalyptus. Them off to the side. I have a belt. Sometimes it's nice to have a blanket under your head for certain activities. I would say good for everything except for when we bridge, right? We're just going to come again. The dog might become, guaranteed he's going to come. Maybe not. Lying on my back, knees are back. Check in with yourself, right? It's a good time to check in. With all the sitting that we're doing, it's also nice to be able to lie down for a few moments. This is a great reset during the day, by the way. You could set an alarm for 5 or 10 minutes, knees bent, put a little blanket or pillow under your head. You can let your palms be at your sides, let your shoulders open. And you could just spend your time here inhaling and exhaling. Because the practice is active this morning, I'm just taking my hands to my belly, and I'm finding my breath, letting my belly rise and fall into my hands, allowing my back, which feels a little sore today, to succumb and surrender. Another nice thing to do if you have a belt or a scarf, right, is just to take the belt to the mid shin, and instead of pulling in, right, pull down. I might have to pull a little bit higher. So you're just pulling down. It's a very different feeling. It feels so nice on the back. It's almost as though the ground is here to welcome my body. And can I surrender into that? From here, just let your left leg stretch long or keep the knee bent. Stretching the right leg up and just pointing and flexing the leg, the foot. Just point and flex. I don't know what that looks like. I'll show you. My teacher, John, says that we can't do this enough. So, again, one of these things that we can do multiple times a day. We tend to rush through these things, right? Wanting to get to the next. But what if we became uber diligent about creating more with these few things that we had every day? And again, maybe this is challenging for you, right? I have clients that can't even do this because their arms, the length of their body is long, and you don't have to hold on. You could also use a strap. And then from here, just let that right leg stretch long, beginning to feel like the leg is getting a little bit more activated and a little bit um, relaxed at the same time, and just pointing and flexing the left foot. I tend to do a very long, slow pre-practice, which is part of the practice. I find that when I do this, it helps to set me up for my practice that I'm doing, and it really sets me up for my day because I need a lot of, you know, um, proprioception feeling of my body. It just helps. You're going to take your strap and you're going to place it around the foot. It can go on the heel, it can go on the midfoot, it can even go up here. You can play around with it if you do the same thing all the time. Try something new. Look at your foot, have the leg nice and straight. Think about both hips and breathe. Pull all toes back. Good. And then take the strap into the left hand. I have a lot of flexibility, so I can pull the strap pretty high up, but maybe you can't. The idea is that you keep the leg as straight as you can, right? We have this tendency to bend. So think about really straightening the leg from the back of the leg all the way into the calf, into the back of the foot, and pulling the foot towards your left shoulder. You're going over as much as it's possible, right? I tend to play it safe in these places because I have a lot of hyperflexibility. So I find that if I overdo it, I'll feel it. And sometimes I find with my hyperflexibility that just finding a little bit of movement and not so much staticness also helps me, right? So lots of different ways to do the poses. Second side, stretch right leg long. And again, notice if you're crossing over already, keep the hip, knee, foot over the left hip. Flexing the feet back, giving the strap a little bit of a tug. Yeah, see, I have a little bit of a bend in my knee, which is okay. Thinking about pulling the kneecap up into the thigh, right? So all of this becomes super active. And finding a nice steady breath. And then again, pulling the leg across the body. I worked out yesterday, so I'm feeling this. Finding that crease, again, pulling the kneecap up, staying as active as you can. Listening, right? Listening to the wisdom that you already have within you. These few weeks has been an opportunity for all of us to not only cultivate but to recruit, right? To recruit what's already there for us. Again, I'm keeping my knee bent. I could straighten the leg out and try that and maybe do both, right? There's no right, there's no wrong. And then I like to sometimes take both legs up, stretch both legs into the strap, making the strap long, and then just doing a couple of slides. I'll show you what that looks like. Just sliding out and sliding in, sliding out. It just feels nice. I learned these things along the way. So, I've been practicing a long time, taking a lot of classes, learning from a lot of people, experimenting. Good. And then you can let all that go. Shake it all out. Shake the feet out. Last night also what I did was, because I had been worked out, legs were up in the air, you can cross right leg over left, bend the knees, and then just grab. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. And just pull, right? It feels so nice on my hips. I sat for 3 hours yesterday doing mindful meditations, which were awesome. But at the end of it, my body was tight. I was also sitting in the smallest space in my apartment where I had good internet and I didn't have to worry about the dog getting on my case and barking. This just feels super nice. Yeah, good. And then I think we're gonna get up in a moment. Just one more thing here. Finding bridge, lifting the hips. Good. It's nice to just sort of stay here in a stable place, maybe breathing in and out slowly. I like staying here for about 30 seconds to a minute, activating the hips and actually driving the femur bone into the hip socket here, right, which helps with my osteoporosis, stimulating bone, and then lowering down. I'm going to do some abs, but we'll do them in a bit. Just going to come up and sit for a moment, one more time. And we're going to do that same thing that we did on the ground, but we're going to do it sitting. So you might want to grab your bolster, your blanket. And again, my legs are stretched out, crossing. I got a better view of this. Let's see. There you go. You get a choice, either seeing my body or my face. Yeah. So this is great. This feels so nice, right? And again, there's no judgment here, like where you're at. We do the best we can. Again, for some of us, this is so available. And then for some of us, it's completely not available. I'm kind of in the middle. The more I practice this, the easier it always becomes for me. It just feels like a nice, gentle stretch on my hips, on the outer hips, right? If this is too much for you, you can also do it one-legged, right? You can have one leg out and then just cross one leg over. You could also do it in a chair and do it more like pigeon pose. If you're here, this is great. Try not to pull the legs in so much. It's really hard on the knees. Really, I like to always think that the shins are creating this nice even line. And then maybe stretching and just finding, this feels so good. Ah. And then to the other side. and then opening up the chest a little, and then try to do this on the other leg. Now, whatever leg you chose to do is going to be the one that's this is definitely my more challenging leg, and you can see it looks very different. I'm already twisted, right? So I got to twist that way. It's actually kind of nice to have a mirror here, right? Good. And then just sit here for a moment, noticing the sensations, right? Not being afraid of them. Tomorrow I'm doing a yin practice, yin restorative. Maybe we'll do this pose again. Uh-huh. Good. And then just shaking the legs out. And all right, this is where crazy might come join me, right? It goes to say it, you know, to say that we should always have our props ready for the yoga practice goes without saying, right? Um, so I have my blocks. I'm very lucky. If you need to learn where to get things or what props to have, I have a whole list of places and what I like and prefer. It's not just because I like them, it's because I know that they work and they last. I have a lot of blankets, um, a lot of bolsters, a lot of belts. I'm setting up the child's pose, and for me, I have a little bit of a foot problem. For those of you who know me well, I like putting a blanket underneath my ankles, right? And this is again where I think the crazy dog might come. He thinks that I'm his play pal, but maybe he's sleeping. Who knows? We'll soon find out. Good. And again, knees are wide, big toes are together, stretching out, finding child's pose. And I'm finding that my thighs are pretty tight. So what I want to do here is just find this Virasana pose, right? Hero's pose. So you're sitting on your shins, right? And it feels nice. It's another great place that I sometimes strap up, but because I'm teaching you guys, basically you can take the strap, actually, I'm not going to do it, but you can put the strap around your thighs to sort of compact the thighs together and settling the thighs down. And then from here, once again, coming into child's pose, but this time as you come into your child's pose, just let one shin cross over the other calf. So you're giving yourself a little bit of like a pressure in the calf. Coming up and switching the cross of the pressure. As well, I like to sort of bend the elbows and pull the fingertips towards my upper back. To give my triceps a little bit of a stretch. Good. Then from here, as I said yesterday, I worked out, so my body is just tight. I feel it, but that's a good thing. I'm happy I'm tight. I'm happy I worked out. Um, Sometimes I work out so hard that I can't. I have to just gently move into stretching. Right. And then from here, we're just going to come on to all fours once again. And this is always an interesting thing when I watch people do it. I'll actually face this way. And so what I see a lot in this is that instead of people, pressing it, I'll see this, like they're forward or they're back and they're like this, right? So this is a good opportunity, if you can see yourself, to create this true box. Pressing the hands, pulling the navel in. Learned one time that if you think like that the four corners of your torso, your right shoulder, left shoulder, right hip, left hip, is four even places, and think that there is like an elephant, or let's say a 50-pound weight on the right shoulder, and you're resisting it, left shoulder resisting it, right hip, left hip, that it creates this feeling of using your abs. And then just making some circles. And then reversing that. Maybe moving from side to side. Yeah. Just making some movement, whatever feels good for you. And then from here, I'm getting tired of being on my hands. So I'm just going to stretch the leg out. Lift that leg up. Keep the hip pointing down. Maybe stretching the opposite arm up, engaging the abs. Finding a balance, right? And then reversing, trying that on the other side, right? Again, keeping the hips even. And then stretching that opposite arm up. Staying there. And then from here, we're gonna just come onto our bellies for a moment. And begin to Sphinx and finding back bends. This is part of my osteoporosis practice. So here I am. Hello. Good. Palms are really pressing down. Oops, I'm just trying to get a good angle of this, but I'm not sure I can. Good. So I see a lot of this, a lot of that. Think about spreading the fingers, letting the fingers point just very gently out. Think about keeping the elbows as wide as the shoulders, lifting the chest. And just finding Sphinx pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. And you can come all the way down, just letting one hand on top of the other and letting your forehead rest. Stretching the legs out and behind you. Driving the hips down. Almost feel like you're finding a pelvic tilt, a rounding of the spine, a rounding of the lower back here. That'll protect your back. Stretch the legs. And then from here, coming back up to Sphinx pose. And then if you want, either coming into downward facing, another place that Woody likes to attack me, or child's pose, or plank pose. Okay, so whatever your choice is, come into one of those 3, or stay on your belly as well. That's another choice. For those of you who are coming into, you're either coming into child's pose, think about um, moving the back of the head forward at the same time here, right? That same action that we worked on earlier, the traction of the back of the head. And then from here, tucking your toes if you're coming into downward facing dog. First down dog in the morning. Put a bend in the knees. Pull the kneecaps up. Gently walking to the top of or the middle of the mat. I don't forward fold, as you all know. So you're either coming into a forward fold or you're coming into a halfway extension, which is what I do, just for now. And then bending the knees, taking the hands to the hips and coming all the way up to stand. Whew, good. So here we are, we're standing. And this is where I switch the computer to the other side. Hello. Because when I do my standing poses, I don't like doing them on a rug and the mat. It's just way too much for me. So I'm just going to place the computer back on the ground. And we'll work backwards from here. I'm really lucky to have all these props. So good. I love the desk or a ledge or a chair, because in the morning after I meditate, one of my things that I start with is I find this modified dog pose. I let my back relax a little bit, right? Find my legs, pull the kneecaps up, stretching. And then from here, I normally do a little bit of like a runner stretch. I consider it like a runner stretch / warrior one. My calves are very tight. So this is like a constant battle for me. But you know what I found out? Most people have tight calves, 9 out of 10. So this is a great thing to do, again, multiple times a day. You don't have to hold on. You can make it a more active pose, which we'll do in a bit. Good. And then just shake it all out. Find the feet. Find the heel. Think that you can draw a big circle like you have dots along your heel of your foot. Big toe ball mound. Same thing, little toe ball mound. You have parquet floors where you're on your mat. Just think about having the edges of your feet lining up with the mat. And just for a moment, closing the eyes. Embodying the entire body. The feet, the legs, the torso, the arms, the fingers, the head. And just breathe in and out. As if you were breathing in from the bottom of your feet all the way to the top of your head, and you were breathing out from the top of your head all the way to the bottoms of your feet. Opening the eyes and just giving your hips a gentle push down. I like my thumbs facing forward. Think about lifting the back ribs more than the front, pulling the rib cage off of the hips and legs. Gazing straight ahead. Again, thinking about driving the back of your head up, finding that traction. It's actually a really good thing to do. Good. And then opening the legs a little bit wider. And taking your hands behind your head. Once again, finding that traction. Opening the elbows wide. Just finding a nice, easy lateral stretch over to the right. Stretch over to the left. One more time, switching the cross of the fingers. Tractioning up, opening up the chest, pulling the navel in. Maybe stepping onto my mat. Finding Tadasana, bringing your palms together in front of your heart. I know you can't see the whole of me, but it's okay. And rising onto the balls of your feet for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lowering it down. And sometimes when I'm practicing on my own, it's, I'm practicing really for function more than I am for yoga. So I love yoga. I love moving my body. I like being healthy in my body. And sometimes that requires me to do things that are not yoga poses, but they just feel so good, right? So I always invite you to play, right? It's about the playing and all that jazz. And one of the nice things to also do here is, which we don't do ever, is to just let the right foot go back and point the foot and then bend the knee a little bit and get a little bit of a stretch in the front of the foot. It just feels nice. And if you need to hold on to a wall, you hold on to a wall. Good. So that felt really, really good for my tops of my feet. So we're going to move into some standing poses and then a couple of series. And all right. Just things pop up on my phone, so it's interesting. Good. All right, so let's find a balance. Let's find tree pose, okay? Again, tree pose can be modified, if you don't want to turn out completely. You can have your foot this way, that's okay. Or you can have the foot really low. You can hold on to a wall. You can also use a block, right? So that you can just find your tree pose. A lot of variations. You can do it seated. So that's why when people say yoga is for everyone, it really is for everyone. You don't have to do any of these poses and you can do yoga, right? But today it's a physical practice and I wanted to offer everybody something. So to begin with, actually let's just do a few of these. Good, and let's try that on the other side. We haven't done a lot of hip openers yet, but according to when I do the osteoporosis, you can start in tree pose, right? So again, a super great pose. We've done some of the osteoporosis poses, right? And holding on, that's okay, right? Again, who's coming to judge me on that except myself? I like finding my pose. It's also hard for me to teach, be seen, and do the pose at the same time. Maybe stretching the arms up and over the head. Again, I'd like you to find that idea that you're pulling and tractioning the back of your head up. It actually really helps to stabilize my back. And then bringing the hands down. I will try that on the other side. Now, my other side is definitely always trickier for me because normally I'll hold on to something, and so I pardon my view here. So this is the hip, the foot. So again, I can just show you. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just take this chair. It's broken. And we'll try it here, right? So we're just going to find the pose here. I have to turn this right foot out a little bit more to find the pose. And again, finding the pose and the repose in the pose, right? So what I mean by the repose is it's the sense of calm. And then if you can, right, like for me, this is a challenge. Ah, maybe I'll just hold on. And that's okay too. And then come out of that. See, I'm not perfect either, FYI. Good. And then let's open the legs a little bit wider, maybe as wide as the mat. And then just find again this lateral stretch. We don't just laterally stretch as much as we need to, so it's always nice to do that. And then you can take your hand behind your head and then just gently traction the head up and open the elbow up, finding the breath. Good. Coming back up, stretching the left arm, stretching over the body, opening the chest, and then once again, pulling the back of the head, opening the elbow. Good. And then from here, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just do a gentle flow series, okay? So once again, what I need to do is switch the computer to the other side because it's very dark in that part of my room. So this way it's a lot less dark. All right, good. Have my blocks, right? And if you need padding for your knees, this is a time to have padding for your knees. I'm grabbing a blanket for my ankles. And then again, I have to just reset the computer so that it's, I'm not sure it's going to work, how this is all going to work. I mean, maybe. There you go. All right, there you go. So you're just going to stand at the top of your mat, finding your Tadasana, grounding your feet, noticing what's going on, right? Okay, well, even though it's just me, myself, and I don't have computer access in all parts of this room. So I just lost connection. And sorry about that. I don't know what it'll look like. But we'll continue on. I will bring the computer in a little bit closer so we don't have that issue. Hopefully there was like some kind of corona message. Yeah, I have my diffuser going in the background. I'm trying to think of what I put in. I have it going a lot more often than I normally do. I mean, I'm home a lot more, so I think I've been focusing on either some kind of a young living breathing, such as Raven. Thieves, obviously, is a great one. I also put in Clarity this morning, which is a great focus oil. And you know me, I love talking about my oils. So I invite you to reach out so I can talk to you about them. They're unbelievably helpful at all times in our lives, and they're very helpful now because they help to create mood. They support me in all sorts of ways. I've been using a lot of oils like joy, hope, etc. So more to come on that. But for now, just stand up nice and tall, as we were saying, finding your Tadasana mountain pose. Sorry that you don't have my full view. And then just inhale the arms up and over the head. I don't know if I can get a full view here, unless I move really far back, and I'm not going to do that right now. So we'll just keep it as is. Just lift the arms up and over the head, fingertips facing towards the ceiling. And then forward folding over your body again, like I don't forward fold completely, but I do extend and go as low as I can. And then from here, you're just going to let your left leg stretch way, way back, bending the right knee, finding this low lunge, stretching the left leg back long, pulling the right knee forward, dropping the left knee to the ground, keeping your body weight forward, stretching the arms up and over the head, and then finding this low extension, sun salutation, and breathe. You might notice that the left thigh is feeling a little tight, which is great. And then taking once again your hands behind your head. Try to move back here a little bit. This is better. Good. And again, sliding the head forward. Again, create space in the hips, stretching the arms up and over the head. Maybe taking the right hand down and just finding a little bit of, again, that lateral stretch. Opening the chest, lifting that arm up, switching it. And then from here, maybe grabbing your blocks and stretching the right leg forward. Flexing the toes back, pulling the hips back, moving the chest forward. Rebending the right knee, driving the hips forward, stretching up. Bringing the hands into namaste. This time we're going to come into downward facing dog. And coming down to your knees or coming any which way, coming into your plank pose. Coming all the way to the ground. Hands to either side of your chest, pulling the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, rising up, finding low cobra. Coming all the way down. Coming into child's pose. Or downward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward facing dog, unless you're not doing downward facing dog. Walking, jumping, hopping to the top of the mat, and coming to stand. Inhaling the arms up and over the head once again. Really driving and beginning to feel the sides of your body. My sides of my body feel nicely activated from all the practice I've been doing this morning. And then once again, exhaling either arms to your sides, right? However you feel good, finding that forward fold, halfway extension. I'm moving forward so you can see me, but you just stay where you are. And then from here, right leg goes back, right? And my knee has that tendency to knock in, so we want to keep it open. Drive the hips forward, drive the chest forward. Let the back knee go down to the ground. Let the left hip settle, stretch the arms up and over the head. Again, back of the head. It's a theme. Hands to your, actually, I'm going to move back just a bit so you can see me a little bit better. Hands behind the head once again. Driving the back of the head, tractioning the head, the back of the head up, away from the upper body, opening the elbows, just finding a nice, easy lateral stretch here, either side. Good. And then from here, just again, stretching the hips back, stretching that left leg forward, pulling the hips back, moving the chest towards the leg, finding your breath. Rebending the knee. And then from here, finding downward facing dog. You could always come into child's pose. Coming forward, finding that plank or modified plank on your knees. Girl plank, which is where I'm at. And then coming all the way down to the ground. Once again, finding the hands to either side of the shoulders. Lifting the shoulders off of the ground, sliding the shoulder blades together. Lifting the head, and again, driving and tractioning that head as you lift your body up, finding cobra pose. Coming all the way down to the ground. Exhaling into either child's pose, downward facing dog. All meeting at the top of the mat. Forward fold. There you go. All right. Again, moving the computer. Nothing is perfect, but trying to help you guys as best as I can to lead you through just like a nice practice that you can do at any time. And for those of you who have practiced with me, which is probably many of you who are on this video, you're familiar with a lot of this information. I just got to get my glasses. It's been nice to get supported with all the things that I do, like corporate yoga, and my young living business, and my beauty counter. Because guess what? We still need things to make us feel good, right? All right, let me just adjust that a little bit. All right, I'm just going to make one more adjustment. All right, let's see how that works. Oh, maybe got to do it the other way. Sorry, guys. Aha, this is good. Perfect. Again, it's just about, remembering where I set things and how to make it all happen. So again, here we are standing. I just moved, you're on your mat still. And finding Utkatasana chair pose, right? Just like sitting in a chair, right? And it's super good to do this. Like you could do this all day long, right? Utkatasana can be here, right? You can have your arms extending over your head, pulling the hips back, driving the chest forward, and then coming all the way to stand. What's nice is that, here I am, the bed or the chair, practicing getting up constantly. This is so good for us. Making hay while we can, so to speak. So I do this a lot. I'll be sitting and then I'll just practice getting up. You can just make it a little bit of an exercise. If you're not sitting in a chair, just practice Utkatasana over and over and over again. Good for the legs. Good. Open the legs wide. Stretch the arms out to your sides. It's interesting to see yourself, right? Because then all of a sudden you could see all the things that need to be improving. So again, let the feet be parallel to the mat, parallel to the parquet floor. Feel the circles of your heel, big toe ball mound, little toe ball mound. Drive the back of the head up. Open the arms. Sometimes it's nice to let the palms face forward like this, just to get this opening in the chest. Good. And then you can let your arms just like sort of take it out a little bit more. So just go past your comfort zone, unless you're one of these people. Sometimes I'll say that and somebody goes too wide, right? So you just want to go wider, to see what it feels like. And if this is still, go wider. This is something John does a lot. I do like it. And then from here, you can turn the feet out. Whoops, I got a wire there. Good. And then you're going to bend your knees and keep the knees tracking over the big toe, second toe, right? And again, stretching the arms, this time finding this goddess shape, right? So you can stay in this stationary goddess. But I love to find this leaning goddess, driving the shoulder blades together, leading with the back of the head, keeping the knees out over the toes, breathing. Feels nice, right? So you can do that. You could actually spend longer there, but for the purpose of today, that's what we got. And then from here, you're just going to turn your feet out. Actually, I have a slant board that I'm going to use. Pull this out of the archives. Really helps with my foot. So it's just a slant board. And again, this takes the edge off of the calf. Hopefully it won't slide into the abyss here. Good. So again, finding this pose, this wide pose. Hips are on this diagonal, right, in the direction of the left foot that's turned out. And then the shoulders are facing this way, but what I'd like you to do is move the shoulders this way. Bend the right knee as much as you can. Stretch the arms out. Gaze over the left hand. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing the warrior. That same lateral stretch we've been working on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then taking that forearm down, extending the arm up and over the head for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming up, reversing this to the other side. Yeah, I think we'll say goodbye to this thing. It doesn't feel too good on my foot today. Again, stretching out, letting the hips this time go into the direction of the right hip. And then opening the shoulders. Think that your shoulder blades are against the wall, keeping the hips this way, shoulders that way. Gaze over the right hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing the warrior for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then once again, warrior 2 into extended side angle. Good, coming all the way up. Turning the feet out, keeping the feet out. I'm just using my bed. If you have blocks nearby, that's great. Keeping the feet nice and wide. Standing up tall and just finding this forward fold to your wide angled forward fold. Hands can come to the ground. The idea for me is to have this extension in my spine, keeping my legs super straight and active. And then from here, bringing the feet in a little bit closer, taking the hands to the thighs, coming all the way up to stand. Good. I don't know how long I've been practicing for. Let me just take a quick look. I'm not sure if it shows that. No, it'll show me later. Okay. Few more stretches, balancing. Just grab the right ankle if you can. This feels nice for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then second side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now I'm going to turn the computer around to the other side. Do 1 or 2 stretches and a twist. And that'll be the practice for today. Good practice. Actually, we're going to just come and lie down on our backs. I'm calling a little bit. So grab your blocks. I love 2 blocks, I have to say. I don't know why people use 1 block. Taking my 2 blocks, placing them underneath my hips. Let me see if I can get a better angle of this. Not of that. Good. So I take my blocks. If you have 1 block, you just put it under horizontally, right? If you have 2 blocks, take your 2 blocks together like this, and they go underneath your hips. Ah, it feels so nice. A lot of good things you can do with 2 blocks, by the way. You could also fold up a hard pillow and put the pillow underneath your hips or a blanket. And then from here, you can let your left leg stretch and just see how that feels. Lately, my back's been feeling a little funky, so I do this in a very slow way. And stretching the right leg. And then maybe both legs. Just breathing. And then bringing the knees together, back up, feet bend, come off of the blocks. And then just for today again, because I have 2 blocks, I just let the blocks support my knees. You can take 2 blankets and just rest. Maybe this is a good time to bring yourself to the wall, bring your legs up the wall. Maybe your legs go up the chair, the sofa. Letting your body completely relax and settle. And giving yourself this time. Even though we're home all a lot, I've noticed that I'm trying to keep myself busy, as if I can't slow down even for a moment, that I have to sort of reclaim and recoup what I've lost in terms of work, creating new stuff, helping people with other parts of what I do, the lifestyle and the essential oils. But it's important to just have these moments of nothingness, of quiet, of the repose, of the space between the breath and the pose. Another nice thing to do when you have 2 blocks is just to put them together and letting your knees roll and rest over the blocks as well. And then begin to bring more awareness in and around you. Bringing awareness to the physical body and bend your knees, roll, move your hands and your feet. Bend your knees, hug your knees into your chest, roll to the right or left side. Coming back all the way up to sit. That was nice. I think I need to spend more time in that pose. And bringing the palms together in front of your hearts and honoring yourself, finding gratitude, and taking the time for yourself. Namaste. Thank you.